Good evening, freakazoids. Yeah, got a new member earlier today. That was Kat McLean, and then she actually upgraded before the show too, all the way up to Megazoid. So thank you very much. Also, before I forget here, I want to thank some Patreon subscribers. That's Kim Clark, Amanda Shirley from the other day, and then Trista Neidig. What was it? Antimony? I think it was Antimony Lane. Gritty Gret, Ohio Italian lady, who's also increased twice her pledge recently, so that's pretty sweet. And then Frida Baxter. All right, so thank you very much. Patreon. I don't know if you guys could hear me. That music was kind of loud. So what's up? Can you guys see me, or you guys aren't chatting away at your normal rapid pace? Yeah, she just kind of steals it. Blue just goes into his crate right below my feet here. Come on, Blue. Come on, Blue. Come on, Blue. Come on, Blue. How about Blue? You get in there. Get in there. Come on. Right there, Blue. See, there's Blue right there. But he smells her being there, and he's like, screw it. I don't want to be there. All right. Stay there, Blue. And she jumps right back on. Okay, well, that's... Blue, you gotta battle for your bed, man. You gotta battle for it. And then he crawls right back into his crate. Oh boy. I did give it a whirl. True Crime Theater. Here, I think I have to reset some of this stuff. Yeah, that stream thing isn't really working, but everything else is. I want the stream count. And by the way, I am going to be not covering the Broussard case that much. My God, I mean, even Scott Reich is covering the damn thing. I mean, can you believe that shit? I mean, it's like every single Chris Watts person is covering that case now. And it's mind-boggling. It's like, yeah, the new gold mine. I gotta do this one to get views. I just cover cases, and sometimes some of them become bigger and some aren't. I don't really care at all about that shit. It's neat, it's fun, it's great when a case is bigger and everybody's it's a big case and people want to see it. But it just, I don't know what it is. I get this crappy feeling inside when any of those people cover cases like that. Really, it just drives me nuts. Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it? I mean, the thing is somebody did say, I'll just give you an update, that in the comments that the police said that they do have surveillance footage in the apartment complex. And I'm like, yeah, of course they do. There's no way in hell there wasn't security cameras in that apartment complex. All right, so yeah, they have that. So they're going to be going through that, and they're definitely going to be able to see who came in and out of that apartment complex, because there's only one way in and one way out. And so any vehicle leaving, they could track down. I think it's going to be solved within a week now, because the FBI and everybody's in there, okay? Let's see, is this thing working? Oh, there we go. I just kind of had to click on it again. Now it's working. 101 people watching now. Sweet. Oh, and thank you, Rachel Ann, for the super chat there. I missed it when it came in. By the way, do you guys ever watch that guy, Brave Wilderness? When he does the... I've watched him for a long time when he does the bite, the sting, the pain amount from... I mean, he's a freaking nut job, but he's got 15 million subscribers, so... I guess, I mean, he literally lets a Gila monster bite his hand. One of those huge centipedes. Every single type of, like, just anything that's really painful. Yeah, look him up, man. I mean, he's like writhing around in pain all over the place. And he literally does it, like, technically. Like, he'll grab it with forceps and then put it on his wrist, and he's like, and he's running around. I mean, yeah, the bullet ant, yeah. He did the bullet ant. He said the most painful insect, though, was that centipede. I think they're those huge ones they have in New Mexico. And then he said by far, though, the most painful bite, though, was from the Gila monster. That's not an insect, though, of course. Yeah, that's right. That's his name. And he always says, I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm entering the bite zone, or the, you know, whatever the hell it is, bite zone. It's hilarious. Oh, cool. Hey, come on, Blue. You can come out now. Look it. Come right here. Right there, Blue. Here, I'm going to close up his crate, because my wife just took Chloe somewhere in the other room. So come on, Bluey, right there. Bluey, Bluey, Jesus, right there. Bluey. It's not open, Blue. You only got one place to go now, right there. Oh, well, there's Gila monsters living in the. I've actually seen Gila monsters in person when we lived in New Mexico. Yeah, Bluey. Hey, he's still walking around. He's not ready to... Yep. Yeah, you guys remember Pinky Tuscadero on the Happy Days? Fonzie's one and only girlfriend that he had, that she was like too much of a match, you know. She was just like him, but a woman. Yeah, I'm just talking to, you know, make sure we get enough, you know, everybody's in here that wants to go over this. This is some crazy shit, man. I was just looking at a case that my friend, you know, there's a website, a Facebook page that I don't go to all the time, but it's something about like the Golden State Killer site, and somebody posted one from 1973, and Ada sent me a link to go check it out. And so I was looking at that, but while looking at that, all these other cases popped up around in the same time, and some of them seem like they're related to each other. It's weird. Dennis will probably be interested in this because it's, you know, some of them anyways. And then we might have to even look at some more, because I found in 1976 there was an article in the paper, and see, in 1976 they didn't even know what to call these kinds of things. You could see that they were sort of like, wow, look at there's so many killings around here, and they didn't really think of serial killers or anything like that. They didn't have that term. Sometimes they said a series killer, something like that. But right, Jeff. Right. Jeff's always throwing out his little sarcasm. Okay, everybody. I am going to switch screens now, and we're going to go do Kansas. All right, we're on Kansas, and really it's all 1973. There's 74, all kinds of different stuff. Who are you talking to, Ohio Italian lady? I don't even see anybody in here with that name. Does anybody see anybody in here with that name that she just mentioned? I don't. Yeah, but Jeff, you're always an ass when you come in here, okay? So it really quickly you won't be allowed on the channel anymore. But I don't want anybody else to do it. I'll make the decision. You're always saying stupid shit. Like you don't enjoy the show, so I don't even know why you're here, okay? You don't support the channel at all. You always make negative comments. You're just a total asshole, okay? So always sarcastic. And I tell you what, why don't you go make your own channel and start doing videos? I'm sure we'll all be really interested in it. Right, the first time you came in today. Right, what a load of shit. I've seen you in here many times. All right, let's see. Yeah, but if you come back with anything other than, well, I'm sorry for being an ass, you're out of here. 2 seconds. Right. Well, you're not funny though, okay? Because your sarcasm is sort of it's passive aggressive and is a cut down. It's not funny at all. Yeah. Ah, Jesus. Yeah, thanks, Stephanie. Yeah, it was pretty, wasn't really much said at that press conference, though, was there? Yeah, Blue's trying to probably rearrange everything to get her smell out of there or something like that. Okay. If he comes back with any other crap, just get rid of him, okay? He was in there just making a little sarcastic. It's not funny, though. It's not like a joke, you know? It'd be funny if there were actually funny jokes, but your jokes are just sort of passive-aggressive types, you know? If you don't like what I'm doing, don't come here, okay? That's what I'll tell you. I have told everybody to do the same. What's Blue doing over there? God, he's like rubbing his head into something. I don't know. He'll figure it out. Whatever he's doing over there. What's going on, Blue? What are you doing? Okay, all right. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so the case that I'll be starting off with is the one where, I mean, believe it or not, one of the people killed's name is Steve Avery, right? Not Stephen Avery, not the Stephen Avery. Okay, maybe we should actually say Stephen Avery isn't the Steve Avery, because this is way before Stephen Avery. Yeah. Like earlier he was saying, wow, Gray, you're so great. Man, you're the great, you know, and he was just being really sarcastic. And then again, he's doing it again here. And I just don't have time for it, nor even want to see it, okay? So if you come back and you want to actually watch the show and contribute like a normal person, then great, okay? But we have enough clowns that show up in here, and I'm done dealing with them. Hey, thanks, Andrea Vodo. Probably said that completely wrong, but yep. Look at that crazy little monster right there. Yeah. And what the passive-aggressive types do is they'll make a comment, and then they'll say, what do you mean? I said how great. Yeah, we know what you were doing. To Oogla Boogla. Thanks, Monica. Okay. Well, nobody's really normal, but I think people don't have to be. I just mean like normal comments, you know. So, anyway, here is the story. This is the first one that I was looking at, okay? But then it's weird how there's these other side stories again. So, 3 found slain near Ottawa. This is all in Kansas. Hey, thanks. Dadio Caspian Horses Rock. Well, I know I am strange. I mean, hell, somebody said they actually equated me to having Asperger's or something. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? But hey, they must have thought I was strange to say that. Okay, so 3 found slain near Ottowa, Kansas. And that is right here, this town right here, okay? I mean, if you go way out on the map. See, this is in the zone of joy that I always say, like, just move here, everybody, just move here. Well, apparently there's stuff going on there. They're cold cases, though. It's like none of the newer stuff goes on there as much, right? So there's Ottowa, Kansas. And a car containing 3 bodies was discovered today 2 miles south of Ottawa, and it appeared all 3 persons had been shot to death. The district coroner, I think I found exactly where it was too. The district coroner, Dr. Louis Spear, said he would be unable to move the bodies until a pathologist could be brought in. He said the Kansas Bureau of Investigation was taking charge of the case. The car, a 1964 blue 4-door Chrysler with Douglas County plates, was discovered half a mile off US 2 miles south of Ottawa. So it says half a mile off of US 59, 2 miles south of Ottawa. The Highway Patrol received a call from a woman reporting the car had a body in it. Other passerby reported noticing the car sitting there since before noon Wednesday. The car fitted the description of one involved in a missing persons report issued by the Office of Sheriff Rex Johnson. The missing persons report listed the 3 persons as Hazel Avery, she's about 60, of Lawrence, Steve Avery, in his 20s, of Iola, and Gary Longfellow, 23, of Lawrence. Okay, then we're moving forward. This was the next day. A Lawrence, Kansas woman, her son, and another young man were found shot to death in a car Thursday, 2 miles south of Ottawa. Robert Pinette Franklin County Attorney, identified the victims, as we just mentioned. Mrs. Avery was shot once in the neck. Her son was shot behind the right ear, and Longfellow was shot in the forehead. Delbert Longfellow, Gary's father, reported his son was missing Wednesday. All right, and then another article from that same day, right here. This is March 20th, 1973. I was, 7 or 8 years old at the time. Technicians were making a thorough study today of the car in which the bodies of 3 persons were found on a lonely road 2 miles south of Ottawa. Shot to death in the car were Miss Hazel L. Avery, 53, of Lawrence, Kansas, her son, Stephen Avery, 22, of Iola, Kansas, and Gary Longfellow, 23, of Lawrence. The car was towed into Ottawa Thursday, and the road was blocked off a mile on either side of the site where it was found. On the road, yeah, okay. A dozen officers searched the muddy area but found nothing significant. A spokesman said the search was to be resumed today. Robert Pinette, Franklin County Attorney, said no weapon was found, and that would lead one to believe suicide was not involved. Panett said the woman shot in the neck was slumped in the front seat. The two young men, each shot in the head, were in the back seat, each lying, against a door and facing the inside. Oh, that's pretty weird. So they were facing, let's see. The two young men, each shot in the head, were in the back seat, each lying against the door and facing the inside. So that means like their back was against the door and they were facing on the inside. There's the article that was on that one Facebook page says they were all kneeling and so forth. Who knows if that stuff's true, but it does seem like it was more of an execution. Panett said the car may have been there since Tuesday night. Delbert Longfellow of Lawrence, father of Gary, said Mrs. Avery asked his son. So here's where, you start putting the story together. Delbert Longfellow of Lawrence, father of Gary, said Mrs. Avery asked his son to accompany her Tuesday night in driving to Richmond, Kansas to pick up her son. Young Avery had started hitchhiking from Iola and was stranded in Richmond, 13 miles south of Ottawa. Yeah, so I actually have it kind of mapped out what he was doing. I mean, this is basically, he started hitchhiking from this town right here. Let's see if it's Iola. Let's hold on a second. Okay, hold on. Yeah, so I guess in that town there, and then in this town here, he got a ride from somewhere in the town to the northern part of the town. And then right in this town here, he made a phone call. But let's see if that's all in these articles. Officer said the parked car was seen on the road Wednesday, but no one paid any attention until a woman motorist who lives in the area discovered the bodies Thursday afternoon. Hey, Tawanda, thank you. Now, I think we agree more than you think. I think a lot of people say something, and then a lot of people say I said something, and then people believe that instead of actually hearing me say it. But thank you very much.
Gray, we might disagree, but I always respect and support you. You were the first person I ever subbed to. Thank you for all the hard work you do for victims.
Oh, thank you. It's very kind. And sorry for all the stuff that's been going on with you out there on the social media, but I appreciate it. All right. So that was the second article on the 30th, and on April 2nd, here's another article. Let's see. Stephen Avery of Iola, one of 3 victims in a bizarre murder south of Ottawa, was buried this afternoon. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation is continuing interviews with friends of Avery. Each victim was shot at least once, according to Franklin County Attorney Robert Panett. The murder weapon, suspected to be a .38 caliber handgun, has not been located, leading investigators to rule out murder-suicide. Investigators have determined that Avery was hitchhiking to Ottawa. Now here's a part that's interesting. The Stephen Avery person was hitchhiking to Ottawa to testify in a paternity suit involving Longfellow, a friend from Lawrence. Avery was taken to Garnett by his brother-in-law at 8:30 p.m. Tuesday and had reached Richmond about 10 miles north of Garnett by 10 p.m. Avery then called his mother in Lawrence to pick him up. She and Longfellow left Lawrence about 10:30 p.m. KBI investigators discovered that Avery made the call from a payphone with a Richmond exchange. Yeah, so that's what town this is right here. 10 p.m. Avery called him from a payphone, and I'm kind of assuming it's right off of 59 right here. Yeah, somewhere in this area there might have been a payphone. I mean, I doubt he. I'm sure he just got dropped off in the town there, and he called, and I think let's see where Lawrence is. Right. Yeah, so Lawrence is up here, and Avery called, and he was going to have them pick him up and drive him back to Lawrence because he was having difficulty finding rides hitchhiking. All right. Now the description they gave of where the vehicle was found was that it was 1/2 mile from 59 and 2 miles south of Ottawa. Okay, and then another article mentioned that it was near a bridge. Well, look how perfect this is. This is 59 right there, and exactly 1/2 mile on this county road. I don't know if this is an actual county road right here, but there's a bridge right there. I mean, that literally is absolutely. If I took this measuring tape, put it right there, and then one across, that says. Let me get the mile. Yeah, 0.48. This is 0.5 miles right there. And it also, if you go out, and they said it was 2 miles, and you go about like this, that's 2 miles right there. I mean, so I think it has to be, and it's even the same creek name and everything. I mean, it just worked out perfectly. I don't think there's street view there, though, so that's it, though, right there. I think the vehicle was found right in this area on the side of the road, and had been there for a few days. And again, that's 1973. So, I mean, I bet you if you go back to 1991, it's even probably a little bit more rural. Look at that. That one spot doesn't have the map on it. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Yeah, you can. Still there, bridge, everything. So. Okay. Avery then called his mother in Lawrence to pick him up. She and Longfellow, and that's the guy that his mother, I mean, the mother asked Longfellow to go pick him up because he's actually the guy that Stephen's going up to help in the paternity test. Officials said that there were no signs of struggle in the car and no evidence of carbon monoxide poisoning. Well, right, because they were all shot. Avery had moved to Iola only a few months ago with his wife and 1-year-old child. He was employed at FEEM Products. Okay, and then there's another article from that same day. This one, let's see. After more than a week of investigation into the murders of 3 people found shot to death near here, authorities have not discovered a motive or the weapon, nor do they have a suspect. The investigation began Thursday, March 29th, when the bodies of Miss Hazel Avery, 53, Lawrence, and then her son, Stephen T. Avery, 22, of Iola, and a friend, Gary O. Longfellow, 23, also of Lawrence, were found in Miss Avery's car on a country road 2 miles south of here, and they're in that town, and a ½ mile east of US 59. These are the facts in the case as reported by investigating officers and the Franklin County Attorney Robert L. Panett. Stephen Avery was to be a witness for Longfellow in a paternity trial to be heard March 28th in the Jefferson County District Court at Oskaloosa. The suit was filed in May 1972. Avery had taken Tuesday and Wednesday off from his job at FEEM Products Incorporated at Iola to go to Lawrence and then to Oskaloosa to testify. Sometime Tuesday, he left his home at Iola, where he lived with his wife, a former Welda resident, and their baby. He began hitchhiking to Lawrence. He was wearing a brown plaid jacket, a green army fatigue jacket, a light green long sleeve dress shirt, blue jeans, and black ankle-high zippered boots. Like, you sound like he was kind of mod, you know, like a... That evening, the high school-age brother of Avery's wife in Garnett, he saw Avery hitchhike and gave him a ride to the north edge of the town. It was 8:30 p.m. Then Avery's brother-in-law left him there. You know, so the brother-in-law just drove him to the north edge of the town and then just left him there. About 10 p.m., Avery called his mother from a pay telephone with a Richmond exchange and asked her to come get him. So he must have, was able to get another ride there, but then he got stuck. It was too late, and he couldn't find a ride up north past Lawrence. Okay. Miss Avery did not want to drive to Richmond alone. All right, so because of that, she then got a hold of Longfellow, the person that Avery was going to go help, and asked him to go with her. She also called her sister and told her she was going to Richmond to pick up Stephen Avery. And know that, again, if you're just new here, this isn't the Stephen Avery. Yeah. I'm just reading some comments here. Let's see. Longfellow drove his car to Miss Avery's home. So Longfellow, the person that Miss Avery wanted to drive and the one that Stephen Avery's helping, drove to the home of Miss Avery about 10:30 p.m. They left Lawrence in Miss Avery's blue-gray four-door 1964 Chrysler. Mrs. Avery was wearing a brown, waist-length, wet-look plastic coat over a white, multicolored striped flower design blouse. She also wore a white cloth rope belt, lavender stretch slacks, and black loafer-type shoes. Longfellow wore a brown waist-length leather coat with a brown full collar over a long-sleeve dress shirt. The shirt and his trousers were blue and white. His shoes were two-tone brown. Sometime in the early morning hours Wednesday, the three were shot to death with a .38 caliber weapon. Miss Avery had bullet wounds in the forehead, neck, and shoulder. Her son was shot in the forehead and the side of the head. Longfellow was shot twice in the head and once in the sole of one of his feet. The shots were fired at a very close range. The car was parked at the side of the road 20 yards from a bridge over Rock Creek. And see, this is Rock Creek right here. This creek right there, that's Rock Creek. And that's a bridge, and that's a half mile, and it just, everything matches really perfectly with that. Okay, good. I don't have to deal with that shit. Let's see. The car was parked at the side of the road 20 yards from a bridge over Rock Creek sometime between 11:30 Tuesday night and 6:40 Wednesday morning. The keys were not left in the car and gasoline gauge registered almost empty. You guys buffering? Well, I don't have any problems on the stream. Okay, well, I don't know how to help you guys. Just restart it or something. Are you guys... I mean, look at, I have a green bars here. It's not losing anything. All right. Okay, so it's just your guys' setup. Pick a lower resolution video, okay? If you're on a cell phone or you don't have very good internet, just lower the quality down, okay? Because it distracts the show when everybody goes, oh, I'm buffering. Okay, but I'm not, there's nothing being slowed down on my end, and I have to go kind of keep looking, and then I don't even know where I was in the article. Right, try that. All right, the car was parked, again, off the side of the road 20 yards from a bridge over Rock Creek sometime between 11:30 Tuesday night and 6:40 Wednesday. So what's weird about this is, you know, the mother, Miss Avery and Longfellow made it to this little town right here to pick him up, and then they drove this way, and then all of a sudden the car is here and all three of them are dead in there. So probably there's some speculation in these old newspaper articles that there was a hitchhiker killer out there. And it actually kind of almost makes sense. There's almost like this killer that's right in this area here. It's really bizarre. Really strange stuff. And between 11:30 Tuesday night and 6:40 Wednesday morning. The keys were not left in the car, and the gasoline gauge registered almost empty. Huh. Well, that's interesting. At 2 p.m. Wednesday, Longfellow's father reported the three missing. Shortly after noon Thursday, a passerby reported the car to authorities. Officers from Kansas Highway Patrol and Franklin County Sheriff's Department were first to arrive on the scene. A few minutes later, several agents from the Kansas Bureau of Investigation arrived. The district coroner, assistant, and forensic pathologists from Kansas City were called, and the area was sealed off. The keys to the car were found on the bank of the creek. So, you know, they just killed him, took the keys out of the car, threw them on the bank. The keys of the car were found on the bank of the creek. South of the car, 6 slugs were removed from the bodies. One was found between the inside panel and the outer skin of the right front door. The slug of another bullet, which passed through the door, was not found. Now, here, the thing is, they never found any of the shell casings. Efforts to find persons who might have seen Avery hitchhiking or might have seen Mrs. Avery's car in the area have been unsuccessful. The section of the creek near where the car was found has been drained and searched with a metal detector, magnets, rakes, and shovels. Where's the gun? Where are the spent cartridges? Where were the 3 killed? When was the car parked where it was found? So they might have been killed somewhere else. But it does seem like if you shot them while in the position that they are in the vehicle, that the shell casings, some of them would have landed in the vehicle. Maybe they were just good about picking them up. Where were the 3 killed? When was the car parked where it was found? What was the motive of the slaying? I mean, you sort of think, well, maybe that's something to do with the paternity, but it's hard to know. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it could have, well, yeah, maybe it was a revolver, but it doesn't sound like that's what they were thinking. But yeah, if it was a revolver, you can have a .38 revolver, right? I'm not a gun expert, obviously. I think that there might be a hitchhiker that did this. All right. So here's another thing. Right after this, another body was found near this area. Okay, so I'm going to go back out to that, and we're going to look at the unidentified body. And here's the article on that. A badly decomposed body identified only as a young white male. This is April 19th, and the previous case was, let me see what the dates are on that, or July 29th-ish, you know, right around that time. I mean, excuse me, March 29th. So literally just 2 weeks later, they found another body, a badly decomposed body, identified only as a young white male. This person has never been identified. Was discovered in a wooded ravine some 3 miles southeast of here Wednesday. Authorities said Tuesday. In this south, and they're talking about Garnett. The dead youth, clad in a waist-length brown corduroy coat, green long-sleeve shirt, and blue jeans, apparently was dead 2 to 4 weeks. So, wow, if you go 2 weeks back, you're right on the same day. Okay? The body was found by a farmer who was looking around his land for mushrooms. Oh, my God, everybody. Can you imagine that? A mushroom hunter finding a body? What a shock. The discovery was 3 weeks to the day from when 3 persons were found shot to death in a car on a remote road some 20 miles to the north near Ottawa. Okay? So I was able to find where I believe this body was found, and as a matter of fact, it's from an article that is recent. See, this is the John Doe, and you can see they've tried to reconstruct him. I mean, you know, I doubt this is even accurate whatsoever. They have a shoe type right there, a ring. They have all kinds of information, but this person's still a John Doe, right? I wish they had these bigger. Do they have these bigger pictures? Huh. A landowner discovered the victim's remains in a small stream in a wooded area. So here's what I came up with. So the body was found in a small stream in a wooded area, 180 feet from 1550 road, 3 miles southeast of Garnett. Well, look at this. This is Garnett. This is right around 3 miles southeast. Here's road 155 road, and here's a creek winding through it right here. And that right there is 180 feet. Okay, now the creek keeps going further and further away from 1550, so the only opportunity, it could be right there or right there, where that body was found. And then look at that, you got 59 again, right there. This is where 59 is the same road that Stephen Avery was hitchhiking on, left at the north end of the town. 59 is where he stopped here and called his mother, and then his mother called up the other individual to come help pick him up. And then they headed this direction, and somehow they were all killed, all 3 people, into a vehicle, and they were found dead right there. But it's strange, the timing, that you have another person that was killed right around the same time they were killed, right near 59 again. And look at that too, the distance off of 59. So you got 59, they're right there. Then up here, there's 59, and right there. So it's literally, I mean, I bet you if you measure, let's see, boom. That is a half mile. I think we already did that one. And let's see down here. That's going to be like a mile, right? And a little different route to get there. So that's 59. So you would have to pull over off at one of these roads here and then drive back there. But I bet you that's like a mile. Let's see. Yeah, 1.08 miles. So what do you guys think? I mean, right there, isn't that a little bit weird? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing is I actually think this might be a hitchhiker. And now I'm going to go out to another story. And, I mean, these are all right around the same time period. So we've got Wilma Willoughby, July 19th, so a few months later. And she's, let's see, we'll map out where she was located. So here is how this story began. Authorities in suburban Johnson County, Kansas are searching for a woman from Wellsville, Kansas. And let's see where Wellsville is. Wellsville, all right. Yeah, I mean, look at this shit. I mean, you see what I'm saying here? It's not far away at all. So this lady's from Wellsville, Kansas. Killed, hell, right around the same time. So let's put I'm going to put that in her folder. So let me mark that. So somewhere in this town is where she lived. See that? You take 59 and then you're just boom, right there. But everything's so near highways and things right in the same area. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up and read this one. Missing RN sought in Johnson County area. Okay, so they're searching for a woman. This is when she was just missing. Miss Wilma Jean Willoughby, 41, a registered nurse at Olathe Community Hospital, was last seen. I think I've already marked that. Let's see where that is. Hold on. Right. And this is where she worked right here. My wife just dumped Chloe on top of the blanket where Blue is. Uh-oh. Can you get him off there? Put her in there. Thanks. I want Blue to just be able to relax. Yeah. All right. I'm trying to, Blue was sleeping under his blanket, and then all of a sudden, Chloe got dumped on top of him. All right. Man, it's like having little kids now, isn't it? I think that's right. Okay, I'm just assuming that this is it right here. Because it's a community hospital and it's in that town. So she lives there, worked there. She was last seen at 11:45 p.m. That's after her shift got over. Thursday, as she left work after a night shift. Police in suburban Lenexa, Kansas, responded to a call about a car fire about 2:30 a.m. Friday and found Mrs. Willoughby's burning auto in a ditch. Mrs. Willoughby's husband, Roscoe, said he last saw his wife about 6:30 a.m. Thursday when he left for work at the Delco battery plant in Olathe. He said his wife occasionally picks up hitchhikers. See, look, listen to that. His wife occasionally picks up hitchhikers. What's going on in the chat, everybody? Can we just sit here and watch the show and comment on what we're talking about? Okay? It's just, you guys are doing some weird shit. Everybody's mad. Everybody's, the holidays are coming, everybody. Let's just calm down a little bit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just... Oh, man. Okay, tell me when you guys are ready to go again. I'm just going to sit here for a while. Just let me know. Okay, cool. You guys ready? All right. All right, so where is Lenexa? I'm going to see where that town is. That's where her car was found. Alright, so this is a little area where the car was found. So it's not that far from here. But the thing is why would her car be here if she lives there? And she frequently picked up hitchhikers.
Hugs for everyone, hugging face.
See, I think there's something really weird going on here. So Miss Wilma Jean Willoughby, 41, registered nurse. So she left work at 11:45. The police in that town, Lenexa, that I just showed you, responded to a call about a car fire at 2:30. Miss Willoughby's husband, Roscoe, said he last saw his wife about 6:30 a.m. Thursday when he left for work at the Delco battery plant. So they just kind of overlap shifts a little bit. But he said his wife occasionally picks up hitchhikers. A lot of people picked up hitchhikers in the 70s. We've always been the type of people who've tried to help others, he said. I hope it hasn't gotten her into trouble. Police said there was no indication of an accident at the scene where the car was found. A helicopter search Friday failed to produce any evidence. Detective L. Edward Davis said the Regional Crime Laboratory is trying to determine the cause of the fire. He said it didn't seem to be the result of an auto accident. Right, so it was burnt intentionally. Mrs. Willoughby's nursing supervisor, Mrs. Jean Sullivan, described the missing woman as an excellent, reliable employee, not the kind to go off without letting anybody know. Okay. So that was on the 21st of July, 1973. And then this is another article. Johnson County authorities plan to use dogs this week to assist in the search for Mrs. Wilma Jean Willoughby. Lenexa, Kansas firemen found her car in flames early Friday morning, about 4 hours after she left her job at Olathe Community Hospital. The area near where the car was found is dense with vegetation. We could walk 2 feet from a body and not know it, said Lenexa police officer. If there is a body out there, a dog is most likely to find it, or more likely to find it than we are. Roscoe Willoughby, the woman's husband, said Sunday night he could not understand why his wife's car had been found in Lenexa, north of here. Mrs. Jean Sullivan, evening supervisor of nurses at the hospital, told authorities Friday that when Miss Willoughby left work, she intended to drive directly to Wellsville, 23 miles southwest. That's right, see? She was going to be heading home. So the whole hitchhiking thing seems to be something that's possible for all 3 of the cases that we're talking about, and they're all within 4 months of each other. All right. So that was July 23rd, and then August 7th, her body was found. Woman's skeleton found near Ottawa. A skeleton found Monday in a pasture 4 miles west of here was tentatively identified as that of a 41-year-old Olathe, Kansas nurse who had been missing since July 19th. Franklin County authorities said a dental check was to be made to determine the positive identity of the body believed to be that of Mrs. Wilma Jean Willoughby, Wellsville, Kansas nurse and mother of 3 children. Tentative identification was made Monday by Dr. James G. Bridgens. Mrs. Willoughby was last seen by acquaintances at 11:45 p.m. July 19th as she left the Olathe Community Hospital to drive to her home 23 miles southwest of Olathe. Her 1970 model car was found burning in a ditch near Lenexa, Kansas at 2:30 a.m. the next morning. The skeleton was found by Charles Schoonover, a farmer who was mowing a field 1/4 of a mile north of US 50. So, let's see. Schoonover said he found the remains in 10-inch deep hay scattered over several square feet. There was no sign of clothing. Wow, so she was nude, completely nude body there. The skeleton was found by Charles Schoonover, a farmer who was mowing a field 1/4 of a mile north of US 50. Let's see, it was last seen past her 4 miles west of here, so Ottawa, and then let's just go to Ottawa really quick. See, isn't that strange again though? Look at Ottawa. So her body is found right in the same area, 4 miles west of Ottawa. Okay? So just somewhere, let's just go from here and then go 4 miles out. I mean this is going to totally rough here, but yeah, so, you know, somewhere around in this area here. I mean, aren't you seeing something that's a little bit strange here? I mean, all these people are right in here. You got 3 people killed there. You got 1 there, and then you had somebody on the same highway structure being somehow her car was found burned somewhere in this area. So that means, let's see, how the hell did that happen? She's from Wellsville, right? And then her car was found burned there, but her body was dumped there. So you know what it feels like? That she left work and she was almost home to Wellsville, picked up a hitchhiker. Then that hitchhiker then dumped her body in this area, then drove the vehicle back up here and burned the vehicle out, and he probably lives in this community right here. And they would go hunting down these different highway avenues. What do you guys think of that? So, said he found the remains in 10-inch deep hay scattered over several square miles. Just tentatively, I'm trying to get a more exact placement. A skeleton found Monday in a pasture 4 miles west of here, and west of here is Ottawa, was tentatively identified as that of 41-year-old. Okay. Wow. And then this one says it was her. A skeleton found Monday in pasture 4 miles west of here was tentatively identified. Okay, so this is basically the same article right here. Willoughby, a worker at Delco Battery Plant, said he saw his wife when he left. At the time of her disappearance, an intensive search was made, and she was never found. And here's what's odd is at the time of the disappearance, an intensive search was made. It was the 5th unsolved death this year along or near I-35. 3 persons, a woman and her son, and a friend were found shot to death March 29th in the woman's car on a county road. So they're sort of linking these together even then. 1/2 mile east of US 59 near Ottawa, on US 59 near Garnett, 25 miles south of Ottawa, an unidentified youth was found. That's the one we talked about a few minutes ago, with a skull fracture in a wooded area on April 18th. Okay, so that's 5 people that all seem to potentially could have picked up a hitchhiker, and they're all killed on that same highway system right there. Okay, but something really crazy is coming up here. So here's another murder. All right, so you'll recognize the name here in a minute, because here we go. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation was called in today to help local authorities on a 5th mysterious slaying in Ottawa area. J.W. Schoonover, an 80-year-old farmer, was found shot to death Wednesday night in the machine shed on his place about 5 miles southwest of Ottawa. Sheriff Lewis Ashcroft issued a formal statement saying Schoonover was shot as he sat on the tractor and died of multiple gunshot wounds. The sheriff also reported the area around the machine shed was being searched. Okay, do you guys recognize the name Schoonover? He's the one that found Willoughby's body. Okay, so Willoughby was found, and I think we'll go to this article right here. I remember which one it was, 807. Let's see, right there. The skeleton was found by Charles Schoonover, a farmer who was mowing a field 1/4 of a mile north of US 50. Okay, and then somehow he ends up being killed too. Don't you think that's a little bit bizarre? I mean, what would the reason? I mean, I guess it could be a random. Not the police don't think it's related, but come on. I mean, you're talking about just a month or so after 2 months after he finds the body on his property, he's then gunned down. Schoonover and his son, Charles, were cutting a hayfield August 6th when they found the decomposed body of Mrs. Wilma Jean Willoughby, 41. She had been missing since July 19th, when she was last seen by an acquaintance leaving the Olathe Community Hospital near Kansas City, where she was a nurse. Miss Willoughby's mother of 3 lived in Wellsville in northwest Franklin County, between Olathe and Ottawa. Her car was found burning in a field. Yeah, I mean, we've already gone over all that. And then they start mentioning that those other cases. Avery, then the missing body. That actually makes 6 people. Because they didn't. This article left out the. No, they didn't leave that out. So you got. They should have said 6, right? Because now he's the 6th person. It's another mysterious slaying. And his name was in the paper, right? So when you go to that August 7th article, you see his name in the paper. And maybe the serial killer, if there is one, saw that name in the paper and thought, hey, and then killed that person too. And was he shot with a .38 caliber? Might want to check that. He was what? And it says right here, after Mrs. Willoughby's death, authorities were considering the possibility a hitchhiker might be responsible for the various deaths. The theory cropped up because Interstate 35 and US 59 tie together all the points involved. Boom! You see that? Yeah, he was also shot in 73.
Thanks for covering such an insane assortment of cases, and thanks for being Gray. You're the best.
Thanks, Cairo. But man, that Streamlabs reading, You suck. Thanks, Gray. You're the best. Yeah, they're all 1973, every single one of these, and it's crazy to me. And they're all right around that same area. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they're all related. And basically, there's a couple other articles that I pulled off on Schoonover, but you know, basically we have the information that we need. They don't think it's related to the other killings, but man, what are the odds of that? Okay, and then this one's from August 15th, 1973. I don't know if it's related or not. I'm just going to look at it, though. Hey, thanks, Patricia M. I hope it... Well, you don't have anything to read, but if it was reading something, that new voice is terrible. Oh my god, it's there too. God, see, I didn't even plan it this way. I didn't even look this one up yet. See, that's Overland Park, and look at 35 is right there. Man, I actually think these are related, all of them. I don't care what they say. So here's another one. Investigators said Wednesday night that, and this is from Thursday, August 16th, 1973, in the same area. Investigators said Wednesday night they had few clues and no indications of motive in the killing of Miss Dana K. Whistler, 22, of Kansas City, Kansas. She was shot late Tuesday night in her car in suburban Overland Park, Kansas. She died early Wednesday. Witnesses told police the girl was shot from a car. So this is a little different, though, than the hitchhiking one. This is actually kind of reminiscent of the Melissa Pesky case. Listen to this. Witnesses told police the girl was shot from a car that pulled alongside her auto near a stop sign. They said the car had been pulling alongside Miss Whistler's car for several stops. Lieutenant Robert Becker, spokesman for the Kansas City Metro Squad, said friends, relatives, and working acquaintances of the girl were interviewed Wednesday, but added the investigation is taking no specific direction. Becker noted the killing was near Interstate 35, but said there was no reason to believe there is a connection with the other recent unsolved killings along the interstate highway. Witnesses said the car that left the scene was red with square taillights, but they did not identify it by make. The girl lived with her parents. Yeah, what a freaking nightmare that is, huh? And her name is... Let's see if there's any more on her. Dana K. Whistler. And then it's in Kansas. And let's see. August 1973. Did I do that right? Hold on. Dana Whistler. Kansas. I'm not even sure how I found that one. What's this one? Hold on, let me look at that. Yeah, Kansas, 1973, August. And Dana K. Whistler. Oh, I put a T in there. Jeez. Okay. So let me put August 1973. August 16th. Let's go to August 19th here. Okay, that's just a memorial. Man, that's it, huh? See how weird that is? How some cases just don't have anything? She's from Kansas City. Let's see. A 20-year-old Kansas City woman was fatally wounded late Tuesday as she stopped her car at a stop sign. The victim had stopped in the 4900 block of Antioch Road. Yeah, so right there. I mean, look how close it is. Right off of 35 again. And then you got the Willoughby was working here at the community hospital, drove back down 35, probably picked up a hitchhiker. Then that person made him drive past there. Her body was found there. Then the car was then driven back up this direction and dumped somewhere, I think around, let's see, where was that dumped? Yeah, somewhere around up in there. I mean, look at that. If you zoom out, I mean, look how dense this is of these events right there. Just right on that highway and that one. Boom. Maybe he's just trying, because maybe he's trying something different, because all the murders are a little bit different, aren't they? Right? I mean, Willoughby is sort of similar, but looks like she was sexually assaulted. The other one, you shoot 3 people in the head, basically execute them. And then, so maybe it's just a killer who's just doing all kinds of different things to throw people off. No, I haven't heard of Amanda Bell. Interesting. Yeah, just go ahead and hide the one who knows. The one who knows doesn't know jack shit, okay? Alright. Right. He's just a troll that goes around. Oh my god, he's the one that knows, so nobody else knows. Yeah. So, man, there's no information on her killing. And I don't think that one was ever solved either. Let's see if it shows up just in Google if you typed in murder of Dana K. Whistler. Oh, well, there you go. This is a full deal here. On a mild mid-August night, the lazy drone of traffic that settled upon the edges of Kansas City like fog was split by the cry of sirens. Flashing lights warped the shadows as they surrounded a single stationary vehicle on the side of Antioch Road. Neighbors and motorists told a ghastly tale. A woman was driving north on Antioch. A red car followed, suddenly pulled up alongside the woman's car. Well, see, the thing is, even the guy that's hitchhiking and killing people, he probably has a car somewhere that he would put somewhere else. So who knows what type of car that person drove. It's not like he was just, I don't know, it seems like he planned it out and he had his own transportation and made sure that wherever he dropped them off, he could get to his vehicle at some point. Yeah. A woman was driving north on Antioch. A red car followed. Suddenly, pulling up alongside the woman's car, the woman accelerated, but the red car caught up with her. As the two vehicles approached the stop sign at Merriam Drive, a gunshot rang out. The red car sped away. The witnesses, who raced to the woman's car at about 11:15 p.m. on the night of August 14, 1973, found the woman slumped to the passenger seat. She had been shot in the head. See, this is similar to Melissa Pesky in that the person shot from the driver's seat through the window and then through her window. The only difference is they would have been stopped. The witness who raced to the woman's car. Okay, so the woman was 20 years old, Dana Whistler. An ambulance rushed her to Shawnee Mission Hospital, and then another to Kansas University Medical Center, where she died. The bullet had entered her left temple. See, that's exactly the same thing, and exited the right. Wow, just straight through. She had no other injuries. At about 1:30 a.m., a man phoned the Shawnee Mission Hospital and asked a nurse if a woman had been admitted with a gunshot wound to the head, neck, or shoulder. The nurse said she couldn't give out information, and the man hung up. He has never been identified. Wow. Well, I hope you guys, maybe you recorded that. That's some crazy shit right there. Back at the scene of the shooting, Overland Park Police Patrolman Steve Denton had been the first member of law enforcement to arrive. He found the victim's driver's license window partially rolled down. The passenger side window was up, and both doors were locked. Denton discovered a bullet from a large caliber revolver in the front seat. Other officers arrived. I wonder how they found the bullet, though. I mean, it went through and through. Must have just had no energy when it left and then just fell down. Or it had so little energy then ricocheted off of the side of the door or something like that. So he found the victim's driver's side window partially rolled down. Yep. Denton discovered a bullet from a large caliber revolver in the front seat. Other officers arrived, canvassed the area around the car, but discovered no more evidence. The red car, described by witnesses, had vanished. The area seemed tailor-made for such a getaway. The intersection was on the edge of Overland Park, and if the vehicle continued heading north, as onlookers indicated it did, it would slip into the dense residential neighborhood of Kansas City, Kansas. If the car turned around, I-35 was just 3 blocks south. In the ensuing days, police put out an alert for a red 1965 or 66 Ford with square taillights. Now, they had 34 detectives working on it. They had 675 interviews. As the investigators profiled the victim, the press was not far behind. Dana had graduated in 1971 from Turner High School, where she had been an honor roll and member of the student council. On the night of the murder, she had worked late, covering the duties of coworkers who was on vacation. She left at about 7 p.m. and, as was her routine, went to the home of her boyfriend. The 21-year-old worked the late shift as a switchman for Santa Fe. The two had been dating for over a year and a half. Dana also had a high school sweetheart with whom she stayed in touch. Both men said they wanted to marry her. Both were initially considered suspects, but were cleared. Dana and her boyfriend dined out that night and then returned to his apartment just before 11 p.m. They drove separate cars to an ice cream parlor where they drank Cokes. They left driving side by side down Johnson Drive until they came to Broadmoor, where her boyfriend turned on his way to work. Dana presumably drove on until she turned north on Antioch, and some minutes later lost her life in the bizarre shooting. The killer likely used some ruse that caused her to roll down her window. Yeah, I was thinking that too. Like, hey, Roll down your window. According to her parents, Dana usually drove with her windows up partially. Her driver's window, which had a damaged handle that made it tough to raise and lower. After the initial investigation, the Metro Squad discontinued its involvement. 35 years later, the case is the oldest unsolved homicide in Overland Park. But the detectives have not quit. Police Department spokesman Jim Weaver, though he would not comment on specifics of the investigation, did note that the case file has been reviewed within the last 6 months. I mean, they have nothing in that one. Think about that. I mean, just a bullet going through and a red car. There's not going to be any DNA or anything like that. Man, what a nightmare. Huh. See, isn't that crazy how things get... like, I was just looking up cases that they were mentioning at the time, and that's why I'm always thinking that some of these are serial killers, because they're all unsolved. You see how they're all right in that little area, and they're all unsolved to this day. It's weird. So, you know what we should do is take a look at this other article that I have here. Let me close all these down. I got so many open. So in the Kansas folder here, this is the article I was looking at. And this was from May 15th, 1976. And in this article, it mentions different murders. Look at this. 71, 71, 71, 72, 72, 73, 73, 73, 73, 73. And some of these aren't even ones I brought up. Like, see, this does have Stephen Avery and Gary Longfellow. You also have the unidentified body from 73. Wilma Willoughby. We mentioned that one. And then we have Mary F. Fortney. Didn't cover that one. We did do Dana K. Whistler. Yeah, well, I mean, it goes all the way back to 62 here. You know, Daphne Rhodes found strangled in her Topeka apartment. Maybe we could go look up some of these. How about I go through them, and then you guys tell me which one you'd like to look at. So this is Daphne Rhodes found strangled in her Topeka apartment. That was 62. 69, Donald Wayne Dykes found dead of gunshots, body discovered in the trunk of his car. 1969, October, Sally Ann Hutton, 13, beaten to death and dumped in a road ditch 3 miles northeast of Iowa. I think we got to do that one, because that's right in that area. Plus, it's sad. Let's see. November, Wallace N. Patton. But I'm not crying. It's just sad. Okay. 1970, November, Wallace, North Patton Service Station attendant robbed and shot. Okay, that's sort of a standard robbery one. 1971, missing March 4th, Suzanne Johnson, 14, Elkhart, found dead 11 days later, northwest of Elkhart. She had been strangled. Huh. Well, why don't we do this one and this one, to see if there's any way they're related. Because that's a 13-year-old and that's a 14-year-old. What do you think of that? Okay, I'm going to move this off to the side, get my newspapers.com open. See, don't you think this is more interesting than some of these? I know some of these cases get really hot and everybody, well, yeah. But this is crazy shit, man. I mean, we could sit there and debate endlessly at this point on what happened, but we don't have enough facts to even guess that much in the Broussard case, all right? So I'm gonna do this. So let's look this one up. Sally Ann Hutton. So type that in. Sally Ann Hutton. I think you could even put 13. They usually would mention that. And then Kansas. And this would be 1969. It's possible it's not there. What month is this? I think it is here. It's October. Okay, so this might be it right here. Man, Chloe's just making all kinds of noise in another room. Wow, it zoomed that quickly? See, here's the thing. Look where Iola is on here. Watch. See? It's just right there. That's actually the town that I think Avery and them were from originally. So that's 1969. Sally Ann. Wait, is that the right one? Yeah, Hutton. Okay. Authorities exhumed the body of Sally Ann Hutton, murdered October 3rd. That's such a quick exhumation, right? Like, she was murdered on October 3rd and then dug out of the ground on November 8th. And took into Wichita for a pathologist to examine. Officials conducted an autopsy soon after the body was discovered, but Kansas Bureau... Here, hold on a second. I gotta... That's funny. Chloe was in this other room and she was barking, and I went in there. And we have this little thing that she can be in, and that zips up in her head. She was kind of trying to get out. Apparently, she knows how to already at 5 months old can get her way out of a bag with a zipper on it. I don't know how the hell she figured that out. It's like yeah, man, it is like having a kid, isn't it? Yeah, tomorrow we're doing a live show at 6 o'clock on here with 3 Minute of Mystery. All right. Okay. Officials conducted an autopsy soon after the body was discovered, but Kansas Bureau of Investigation officers said they felt an additional examination is necessary to conduct the investigation. Miss Hutton's body was found badly beaten after she attended a junior high school football game. The body of Mrs. David Cantrell was found 5 hours after the discovery of Mrs. Hutton's body. Authorities indicated they have made progress in reaching a solution to the Cantrell case. Huh. Weird. So was that ever solved? Let's see. Murder of Sally Hutton. Yeah, Yep, look at that. 50 years ago this fall, 2 young women were killed in less than a week in the small southeast Kansas town of Iola, apparently unconnected to each other. Well, I didn't hear about the other one. They're buried, both of them, in Iola Highland Cemetery. Sally Ann Hutton and Betty Lou Cantrell. Oh, they didn't solve the Cantrell one. Jesus, really? So, we go back to that article, and it says right down here, the body of Miss David Cantrell was found 5 hours after the discovery of Miss Hutton's body. Authorities indicated they have made progress in reaching a solution in the Cantrell case. Well, if you go here, and this is Reddit, by the way, it says that the Cantrell case hasn't been solved either. That's crazy. Let me, man, now I want to type that one in. Let's see what the deal is here. Wait, now they worded her name differently, though. Hold on a second. That wasn't... They worded it as... the body of Mrs. David Cantrell? Why'd they say Mrs.? I mean, that sounds like somebody that's married, right? And then this says... Betty Lou Cantrell. Okay, yeah, because back then they used to always say Mrs. William Bennett. They don't even give her the first name. So her real name is Betty Lou Cantrell. She was 28 and married. Okay, let's see. That's got to be in here then. Betty Cantrell. Okay. There we go. Autopsies have disclosed that 2 Iola women slain last week here, beaten savagely about the head, and neither was raped, officials said Sunday. The body of Sally Hutton, 15, was found in a roadside ditch just north of the city Friday, about 4 hours after, about 4 hours later, the body of Mrs. Betty Lou Cantrell, a waitress, was found floating in Elm Creek at the south edge of town. Iola is in the southeastern Kansas, about 50 miles west of Missouri border. We're still working on the assumption that the deaths were separate incidents, said Roy Emmons. Why would you make an assumption like that? Miss Cantrell disappeared early Tuesday from a cafe where she was working alone. Let's see. Miss Hutton left home Thursday evening to attend a football game, and the time of her death has been estimated at midnight. Dr. John W. Schmass, a deputy coroner, took Mrs. Cantrell's body to Wichita for examination by a forensic pathologist Sunday. Schmass said the study showed the woman suffered 2 severe blows to the back of her head, which apparently fractured the skull and came minutes before her death. A blow to her mouth, which knocked out a few teeth, came earlier. Jesus. Officers believe Miss Cantrell was slugged in the mouth at the cafe, where some drops of blood and blood-stained facial tissue were found. The autopsy of Miss Hutton was performed by... Jesus. So, was she closing it down? The body of Sally Hutton, 15, was found in a roadside ditch just north of the city Friday. So that would have been... This is Monday, so that would have been, let's see, 5th, 4th, the 3rd, right? Maybe Friday. Yeah. So October 3rd. So probably the 4th it would be in the newspaper. So let's see if we can narrow a search down here by saying 69. That'd be October. So October 1969. And then body found. And I was saying October 3rd. Oh, how about this? So that would be the 4th. Police see link in double Iola murder. There you go. Police believe the same person. See, now they're saying that. Listen to this. Police believe the same person. This is what they originally were saying. May have killed a 15-year-old girl and a 28-year-old waitress whose battered bodies were found near Iola Friday. The victims were Sally Hutton, a 9th grader at Iola Junior High School, and Mrs. David Cantrell, a waitress at the Dine Out Cafe and mother of 2. Sally's body, the face and head crushed. Okay, hold on. Okay, so Sally's the 9th grader, and then okay. The face and head crushed, both legs and her bones fractured, was found shortly after noon in a roadside ditch just north of the city. Mrs. Cantrell's body, battered about the head, was found 4 hours later floating face down in Elm Creek near the Kentucky Street Bridge at the south edge of Iola. I mean, how could they not be related? I mean, it just, what are the odds of that kind of stuff? Like, apparently he didn't want to live anywhere near this area between 69 and 74, okay? Forget it. Sally Hutton was last seen at 8 p.m. Thursday when she left a football game in a car. Dr. George Dittar, coroner, said she was killed about midnight. Police said she apparently had been dumped into the ditch. The base of an automobile jack was under her body. Oh, that's interesting. A short distance away was an empty tissue box and several blood-stained tissues. Well, hopefully you kept those. Okay? Because you don't know if that blood is hers or not, do you? Blood-stained tissues also were found in the cafe. Well, listen to that. Listen to that craziness. Blood-stained tissues were also found in the cafe where Miss Cantrell was working alone when she disappeared Tuesday morning. And you don't think they're related, huh? A cruising policeman saw Mrs. Cantrell in the cafe at 4:30 a.m., but at 5 a.m., the lights were out, the door unlocked. So she was dumped in the river that quick, because you guys said earlier that she was found 4 hours later. Well, if midnight is when... Well, I guess it was when they were found, not the... okay. A cruising policeman saw Mrs. Cantrell in the cafe at 4:30 a.m., but at 5 a.m. the lights were out, the door unlocked, a closed sign in the window, and Miss Cantrell was gone. Her car parked in front of the place when she arrived at work at 2 a.m. also was gone. About $25 was missing from a cash register. The car was found Tuesday afternoon, partially hidden by brush along an old railroad siding about 150 feet from a street at the south edge of town. There were bloodstains in the car, but no signs of a struggle, police said. About 500 persons searched the area around the railroad tracks and along Elm Creek Wednesday and Thursday, but found no trace of Miss Cantrell. A motorcycle rider saw the body clad in a waitress uniform floating near the bridge Friday evening. Sally Hutton's parents, Mrs. and Mrs. Ray Hutton, had reported the girl missing about 2 hours before her body was discovered by Mr. and Mrs. Harold Gay, a farm couple. Wow. That's some crazy shit right there. So I guess now we move on to the second one that we were going to do. But just looking at this one, we found a second person. Don't you think that's weird? Like we were just looking at Sally Ann Hutton, and then now we've got a second one related. Yeah. Well, thanks, Jojo. Yeah, it's. I think what's amazing is when you're going through these, how they start creating like a spider web, and then there's a whole bunch more. It's bizarre. I think there is something to these murders all around in this area. You know, I don't know if these two are related to the other one. But what's interesting is all these murders are right around the same time in the same area, and they're all a little different. And that might be his whole trick, you know, to throw people off, is the killer kills differently. That's his MO, that each time it's a little different. Maybe a different weapon. One's strangle, one's this one, one's that one. Right, yep, exactly. Alright, so the other one was a missing on March 4th, Suzanne Johnson. So whatever happened to her, let's see. This might not be in here. And I'm just thinking that because if she's just missing, a lot of times they don't really report any of this stuff. No, this could be it, because that's the right month. Oh, well, no, she was found dead. So, here we go. She went missing March 14th, found dead 11 days later. Okay. So let's see what the hell happened here. Shockwaves rolled through Elkhart Friday following discovery of a missing teenage girl's body. This is 1971 March, okay? And the arrest of a neighbor youth on a charge of first-degree murder. Although that obviously didn't lead to anything, because this is 1971 and 1976 is the article saying it's unsolved. The partially disrobed body of 14-year-old Suzanne Johnson was located by a volunteer searcher just minutes after a large-scale manhunt was launched to seek clues to her March 4th disappearance from the front of her home. About 2 hours later, 19-year-old Johnny Wilmore, a neighbor and friend of the girl, was arrested in Liberal while attending classes at the vocational school there. Morton County Attorney Edgar White said Wilmore is being held in Elkhart on a charge of first-degree murder in connection with the death. No, well, it turns out that wasn't him. So, I want to get to what they think happened. Let's see. The search was undertaken as sort of a shot in the dark, Tucker said. Sheriff Craver said today he would organize the search because we had just run out of anything else to do in connection with the girl's disappearance. Launched at 1 p.m. Friday, the 150 searchers from Kansas and Oklahoma were planning to cover a grassland area by an 8-mile square stretching north and western from Elkhart to Colorado line. Armed with walkie-talkies and two-way radios, the volunteer on horseback and afoot were scattered in a line 7 miles long. Wow, that's crazy. And had covered about a mile. That's amazing. So all these people were all scattered 7 miles in a 7-mile line, and then after a mile of walking, when the body was discovered. That's a little bit like the Schnee Oberholzer case, how quickly, wow, they put a search together and boom, this guy walks right down, and there they find Bobby Joe. The site in the tall grass, about 60 feet from a gas well service road, is a field 1 mile west, 1/2 mile north, and 1/4 of a mile east of town. The field is 3/4 of a mile north of the town dump. It's pretty descriptive. So the town would be Elkhart. Let me go to Elkhart here. How much you want to bet it's in the same area? Yeah, it's not that close. A little bit further away. Okay. How big is... That's quite a ways away there. Small little town again, though. Site is in tall grass, about 60 feet from a gas well service road, in a field 1 mile west and 1.5 miles north and 1/4 of a mile east of town. Ah, jeez. That almost seems like too much. How can you have 3? It's a two-dimensional... 1 mile west, 1/2 mile north, and 1/4 of a mile east. Yeah. I'll let somebody else do that one. Well, there you go. You got, I don't know how related those are, but it just seems like, man, Kansas is normally a pretty safe place. And then right around in this time frame, you have all these murders. What's the last one on here? Alright, how about Elizabeth Wilson, 13, skeletal remains found in Johnson County. She had been missing since July. I guess I don't know. Yeah, anyways, I'm going to keep this file in that folder. Maybe I'll include a couple of those next time I get through Kansas. But amazingly, I might have to do Kansas again somewhat soon, because those are all just in the same year that I did. There's got to be some more out there. How you think? Doing pretty good, Shirley. How about yourself? What are you confused about, Amanda? There's just so many of them. But if you go back and if you got here late, go back and listen to the beginning of the show. It was really weird. You had these 3 people killed in a vehicle. The guy's name is Stephen Avery, his mother, and then another friend that he was going to help in a paternity suit. He was hitchhiking, and then it appears that the mother had picked him up with that other friend, and that something happened, and then they were all killed. And then they found another body just not too long after that, off the same highway. The person was killed right around the same time. And then there was another person killed, Willoughby, who was killed. It seems like that she picked up a hitchhiker. So it seems like a hitchhiker might have been involved in all of those. And Willoughby looks like she picked up a hitchhiker on the way home, then was driven a long distance away, killed and dumped, and the car driven back up past where she had picked up the hitchhiker, way up into a town, and then dropped off. The vehicle was dropped off and I think set on fire. Okay? And then the people who, let's see, is that the right one? Yeah, and anyways, the people who found Willoughby's body, though, that person was killed too, just 2 months later. Crazy, huh? Hey, thanks, Dottie-O Caspian Horse Rock. So, anyways, I think I'm going to end the show. It's been a couple hours now, almost. And I appreciate everybody coming on. What are we going to do? Should we fly around in Kansas somewhere? Yeah, it's not really that too many great landmarks in Kansas, I don't think. In terms of, you know, doing a flyby. It's pretty flat. I always like it over here because there's so much rocks and mountains and all kinds of stuff. Like yesterday, it was pretty cool. I was in a place I hadn't seen before. I think it was way over here somewhere. That's a good place for the alien to dance, right on that plateau. All right, Fire Valley, Nevada. That sounds cool. Good night, Gene Fish. My ornery sister. Oh, that's pretty cool. Look at that. Yeah, so again, I had new Patreon supporters. Kim Clark, Amanda Shirley, Trista Neidig, Antimony Lane, Gritty Gret, and Ohio Italian Lady increased twice. And then Frida Baxter. So thank you all for joining Patreon recently. And then also on... Well, now I'm going to have to load this up. Hold on a second. Yeah, she just keeps yapping in there. Yeah, I'm gonna make the what the hell is this and more often than never mugs, okay? Those will be coming soon. Oh, we actually have 251 people watching right now? That's pretty cool. I didn't realize that. Well, I hope all of you, if any of you are new out there, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I hope you thought that was interesting going over those cold cases that seem to possibly be related. At least 4 or 5 of them did. Alright, so thank you, Cairo, for the PayPal earlier. And then we've got a member, a new member, Kat McGlynn. And Kat McGlynn then upgraded again. Not again, but upgraded. And then Rachel Ann gave a super chat. And then Andrea Vodo became a member. And then Monica H also, then she upgraded to the second tier. And then Dadio Caspian Horse Rocks did a super chat. Then Tawanda, thank you very much, Tawanda. And Kit Kat, Patricia M, Dadio Rock as well. And then I think there was another one below that, but I can't see it. I'm not sure why. But. So thank you guys. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. And here we go. Let me turn off roads. I don't like roads on. Good night, Amanda! Amanda Bell. Yeah, no problem. What the hell is this? What do you mean? What do you mean? Make your mug? What is your mug? Hey, Dennis, did you hear some of that stuff? Wasn't that some weird shit? Probably doesn't, you know, fit neatly into your database, but, you know, it's pretty interesting. What's the mug you're talking about, Rachel? Oh, I don't see it. You'll have to type it in again. I don't see all the comments. I thought it was a mannequin. Well, that's not one that I said, though. Kind of like a channel thing. Did I say that one time? I thought it was a mannequin. Yeah, but what is it referring to, the mannequin? Oh, okay, yeah. That'd be kind of fun. I gotta know what it's about, you know? I thought it was a mannequin! Kind of that looks like that'd be a cool painting right there, wouldn't it? That's awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you all for showing up tonight. What the hell is this? More often than never. I thought it was a mannequin. There we go. 3 different mug ideas coming up. Yeah, it's pretty sweet looking. This was a better map than it was earlier. Look how clear that is right there. You know what was weird about this when I was looking down at it? It was just this little patch. You see that? Like this little patch of red dirt right there. All right, there we go. I'll try not to step on my last line again. I'm having a hard time now. All right, so thank you guys all for showing up tonight and going over these cold cases. I'm really sorry that I didn't cover the Broussard case over and over again. Actually, I'm not at all. So, all right, everybody, thank you again, and don't forget tomorrow at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time is a 3-minute of mystery get together on this channel, live show. I think it's like an hour long. Maybe we'll take calls. I don't know. We might just be on there talking. Okay. So make sure to be here tomorrow. That's 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. All right, everybody. That's it for the show tonight. And until next time. Be safe out there, too.